Hello from me, Lazar. We continue with the next lesson. From the HTML course, we have now reached attributes of HTML elements. We open the PDF file, as already mentioned. HTML elements can have attributes, properties, such as color, dimensions, ID, class, and others, which can take certain values. For example, in our new 1.html file. Example of a single tag with an attribute that has a value of tag meta, attribute is charset and its value is UTF-8. In this case, that means that the encoding of the page is in Unicode. Attributes, properties, serve for adding additional information about element and to change its properties and behaviors. They can be global and own. Global ones are generally valid and own ones are specific. For the specific element, we will look at our own, and the global ones a little later. Attributes are written in the opening tag, after his name separated by a space. The syntax is as follows. Tags can have more than one attribute, then attributes are separated from each other by a space. As an example, we will show the link tag, through which in the case a link to another document is set, usually an external CSS file. So the tag is a link with three attributes: rel, type, and ref, and the entire syntax is as follows. CSS has some naming restrictions, and the attribute values that must be respected. I will not dwell on all of them. The main ones are: 1. In the attribute names should not be used spaces, quotation marks, and the symbol /equals. 2. In the attribute values, do not use the and symbol. In HTML5 some of these restrictions are no longer mandatory, but so that our heads are at peace, as they say in Bulgarian. That is, for everything to be as it should be, we better comply with these requirements. How to record the attributes? Boolean, empty, attribute. That attribute where its name matches the value is called Boolean or empty. It allows three ways of recording. Advanced. Empty. Its value is empty. Boolean, its value is missing. Boolean logic is used here. If there is a written value, then it is true. And if there is not, then it is a lie. All three of these entries are valid. You can use whichever is convenient for you. Basically, most often, the third method is used, the Boolean method. Ways to record the values of attributes, about the quotes. This is a recommended, common way. That is, the values are written in double quotes. It is an acceptable way. Values are written in single quotes. It must be used in cases where, when the value itself has double quotes, in order not to get two pairs, or two pairs, double quotes. And this is strictly prohibited. And it is not permissible under any circumstances. Here is an example. Here img attribute source can also be written with double and single quotes. but in the alt attribute must be written in single quotes, because in it the word Nazarene is written in double quotation marks. This is said of the Lord Jesus Christ. It is about the Bible, the New Testament. The expression used was called a Nazarene. This is because the word Nazarene is in double quotation marks, because she is a quote. And the entire expression is written in single quotes, so as not to get two pairs of double quotes. It is an unrecommended, but still acceptable way. I.e. values are written without quotes, allowed by browsers, and some developers use it because it's easier. But it can lead to difficult, detectable errors, and therefore W3C does not recommend it in this case either. I agree with them too. But it should be known that, and this way should not to be used when value consists of more words. That is, there are spaces, because an error will occur. So, the next thing we'll look at. These are the global attributes. As mentioned above, HTML elements have global attributes, which are common to almost all of them. Another issue is, however, that not always using them gives some result. The most commonly used are 1 ID, example. This is a unique identifier. For example, as it is for Bulgarian citizens EGN. Hence the rule that it should not to have two identical identifiers of one element in one web page. 2 class, example. Serves to be able to set common, same, properties. Roughly the same style, for everyone. Elements of this class. We will take a closer look at the use of ID and class in the CSS chapters. 3. The next global attribute is hidden, example. That is, hidden, this means that the element it will not be visible in the browser, but may be available through scripts. 4. Style, example. Serves to set a certain style of formatting the given element. In this case it shows that the text of this paragraph will be in blue color, and the font size will be 20 pixels. 5. The next global attribute is title, example. Used for hint, which represents additional description of the item, which appears as a tooltip when we place the mouse on the element itself. The complete list of all HTML attributes can be viewed at the following internet address. That's all for this tutorial. Best regards.